Hi friends, welcome to my channel. Today in this video, I'm going to show you how you can configure SNMP on Fortigate Firewall. By the way, the version here I'm using messages. All right, then let's get started. So on my screen, you can see, okay, if you go to system, if you go to SNMP, so here you will have to enable this SNMP agent and you will have to fill in this information. The description I've given as Fortigate and my name. Location you can fill in and the contact information. And the other thing would be that you should decide what version of SNMP that you're going to use it. Are you going to use version 1 or version 2c, or you're going to use version 3? And the major difference in layman terms between version 2c and version 3 is that you can encrypt the traffic using the encryption standard like AES 3DES. So version 3 is more secure, but then I have not seen version 3 deployed in production environment because it puts a lot of load on the system because your firewall is already loaded and is processing the traffic. So you don't want to load your firewall, by imposing the encryption of SNMP traffic. So anyways, I mean, people do use version 3, but then I have not seen version 3 usage across the multiple deployments that I worked on. So, okay. So once you enable this SNMP agent, you will have to fill in this information like description, location, contact information. Once you're done with that, you can create a new entry. You'll have to put the community name. This is very important because you will have to use the same parameter that you're using here to do the monitoring, SNMP based monitoring from your SNMP manager. After the configuration, I'm going to show you how you can do the configuration of these in your SNMP MIB tree or SNMP MIB browser. I'm using open source MIB browser. You can use other tools which are paid like SolarWind, I think PTRMG as well. So yeah, I'm not going to use those paid services. I'm going to use the open source SNMP MIB browser just to show you that how the SNMP poll and trap works. So I already have an entry, so I'm going to show you the entry. If you don't have, you'll have to create a new entry. I'm going to show you both version 2c as well as version 3. Okay, so here's a catch. You will have to enter the community string here, which is test in my case, and then you will have to put the IP address. Okay, so you'll have to update the IP address of your SNMP manager. In my case, I'm using a Linux CentOS server and I'm using a Windows system just to show you how you can use MIB browser, SNMP MIB browser to get the values out of the OID. Okay, so this is pretty simple. I'm going to accept the query and send the trap for both the host and version 1, 161, same port that I'm using for version 1, version 2c. Local port is 162, remote port is 162. So for trap, pretty standard configuration that I have here. And you can select what are the events that you want to, send the information about. So once done, click apply, and then you can go to version 3 configuration. You can create a new one. I already have a entry, so I'm going to show you what I have. You'll have to enter the username here, which in my case is my name. And then you will have to, set the security level. In my case, I'm going to use authentication. You can set no authentication as well, so not an issue with that. And if you click on private, you can encrypt your traffic between your SNMP manager, which is going to be my CentOS server or my Windows server. And SNMP agent would be my firewall, which is going to send all the information. So this is pretty simple. You will have to set the password, you will have to set the hashing algorithm that you're going to use, and you're going to allow these SNMP managers to send the query. Ports are pretty standard here. So once you're done with this configuration, you can click OK, and then you click on apply. So once done, you're done. So whenever you configure SNMP manager, you require the management information base, which is MIB file, which contains all the information about the device, the hierarchy where the values are stored. For example, each networking device is having their own MIB tree so that you understand what you are reading out of the OIDs. So these trees are actually donated by the OIDs. So interface will have a separate OID. System information, management information like serial number of the device, uptime, location of the device will have a separate OID. So I'm going to show you that as well. So just keep in your mind that whenever you are using SNMP manager configuration or whenever you're doing SNMP manager configuration, you should have the MIB tree of that particular device just to make sense what you are, reading the data. Otherwise, it'll be difficult for you to understand what data you are reading. So I already have this downloaded on my server. So, okay, so you can download the MIB file and you can upload it to your MIB browser or your SNMP manager, which could be, paid services like SolarWind, PTRMG, all those stuff. So anyways, I'm going to show you that as well. So configuration is pretty simple here. Let me show you one more time. This is community string is test. Since this is version 2c, so you don't have any authentication encryption flexibility here. You just have to mention the IP address and the port for query and trap, and you will have to select the events. Okay, so now I'm going to show you how you can do a SNMP walk just to confirm that everything is working fine. So let me switch my screen. Okay, so I'm on my CentOS machine. Okay, so this is the command. If you want to use this particular utility on your CentOS, then you'll have to install the net SNMP utility, I guess. Let me show you that. So this is the utility that you will have to have on your CentOS so that you can do SNMP Walk to confirm. By the way, I'm going to show you the configuration on the Windows machines as well, if you're using any of the MIB browser. So you can see here, SNMP Walk version 2c. This is my string name. This is the IP address of the SNMP agent. In my case, is the firewall. And one more thing, what I'm going to show you is that you'll have to enable the protocol on the interface. Here you can see I have enabled the SNMP. Okay, so this is the command on the Linux system to do the SNMP walk. And this will give you all the OIDs. There are specific hierarchies as well, which is common across all the system, which is the system hierarchy, which will give you the information. All right, so this is the command that you can use on the Linux machine to do the SNMP walk. And if you want to read a specific OID value, then you can do, what you can do is you can copy the OID and then you can hit enter. So it is going to read the value on that particular OID. So if you remember that these are the configuration that I did while enabling the SNMP. This was the contact information. This was the location. This was the name, description. You can see here. Well, now we can switch to our window machine just to show you how it'll look on your MIB browser. Okay, so this is my window server. And I have to, okay, this is the first open version MIB browser, which is iReasoning MIB browser. So what I've done here is I have uploaded the MIB tree. You can download it from the firewall under SNMP. You can see here there is an option of downloading the FortiGate MIB file and FortiGate core MIB file. So I have both of them. So I'll be uploading the MIB tree here. You can see here. Okay. So now once done, you will have to configure the IP address. So this is just to test the version 2c settings. Community name is test. So you can see here, I am able to read the information. Since I have the MIP tree uploaded, I'm easily able to identify what value I'm reading. For example, if you go to management system, if you want to know the uptime of the system, you can click on this. So this is going to show you the uptime of the firewall. You can see here the value 9 hours 42 minutes 5 seconds. In similar ways, you can click on system description just to get the information about the system, contact information. This is the email ID that I configured. Location, like I said. So this will make sense when you will have the MIP tree, because a MIP tree will give you the information about what is the OID value and what is it storing in that particular OID value. For example, this OID is storing the location information. This OID is storing the information about the contact. Well, you can check that as well. So you can see here, the same thing, I can read it on my Linux server as well. So you can see here the same information, I can read it if I have the OID. And to understand what this actually stores, you will have to have the MIP tree. So here you can see system location BLR. All right, so let's try to check the version 3 configuration, and let's try to do that. Since this particular MIP browser, iReasoning MIP browser, is not capable of version 3 configuration, so I'll have to switch to another open source MIP browser, which is ManageEngine Map Browser free tool. And under the settings, you can see this is version 3, and you will have to define these parameters. For example, this is the host name or the IP address, the port, and security level is auth private. You will have to match the configuration on the Fortigate Firewall. Well, you can refer the Fortigate configuration you can see here. Security level I have chosen authentication SHA-1 hashing and the password. The same password I have, let me just create a new one so that I can show you what you can do here. Okay. So you can see here, these are the three. Okay, on the web browser for version 3, these are the options available. authentication private, authentication no private, no authentication no private. Since on my firewall I have chosen authentication with SHA-1, so on my MIP browser I'm going to choose authentication private. By private I mean this particular configuration below the authentication configuration I have chosen as private, which is going to encrypt the traffic. So I'm going to choose it as auth private, and I'm going to choose as SHA. I've given the password, the same password that I've used there on the firewall. So you will have to choose the same algorithm that you have chosen on the firewall. In my case, this. So let's try to choose that. Okay. Since I already have this, so I don't have to again do the same thing. Okay, so this is going to be version 3 communication, which is going to be encrypted. For example, I have already loaded the MIP tree here. So let's try to read. Okay, you can see here. Okay, seems to be some configuration mismatch here. Okay, let's try to use OIT. So you can see here, I'm able to read the information using the version 3 configuration, and this communication is encrypted. You can see here, I'm able to do the query and I'm able to get the information as well. This is the system uptime, 9 hours. How about location? You can see here, there are a lot of information that you can get from the firewall using your SNMP manager or MIP browser. On the firewall, you can check the configuration using the command set system SNMP system info. You can see the configuration that you have done on your GUI. You can get the community information as well for version 2. And you can get the version 3 configuration as well. the authentication with private settings, password. This is hashed, protocol des. So this is something that you can use on your Fortigate firewall just to check the configuration using CLI. And that's pretty much about SNMP configuration and how you can check the configuration, how you can do SNMP, how you can send a SNMP GET request, GETNEXT request, or anything. All right, guys, that's all in this video. If you have any question, if you have any suggestion, you can leave them in the comment section. And please do subscribe to my channel. Hit the like button if you really enjoyed the video, and stay safe. Have a good day.